Hi Ian, or whoever might be watching this. What I'm going to try and demonstrate is what we're looking for when we do a fillet weld fracture test for the purposes of a welder qualification. What I want you to imagine is that this test piece has been welded in that configuration with a single weld down there. Now, you can see the weld quite clearly, but what you hopefully you can see is the fact that that's had a cutting disc run through the centre of the weld to weaken it. You don't have to do that, but the chances are it won't fracture if you don't weaken it in that fashion. So having weakened it, you can then take a hammer to it, or more to the point, the welder can take a hammer to it and fracture it over like that until it snaps. And then you take this bit off. This bit, the base, the original base, is actually of very little use. It doesn't tell us very much, other than you can have a look in the weld fracture surface for significant defects which might not comply with 5817, but you're almost certainly likely to see those same defects in the fractured surface along here. There's not much you can see in the area where you've actually put the grinder through, the cutting disc through. The main reason we do this is that we want to see that the weld has fused right the way down to the root. And to do that, we have to look along this edge. And if you do so, if you do that, you'll see it almost appears as though some areas may not have fused. And that's because it's burnt away the edge of this plate, but it's not necessarily a defect. The best way to make sure that it's fused through is to take a ruler, thus, measure the thickness of the plate, which if I do that, I'm hoping you can see is something in the order of 10 millimeters, little tad less maybe, about 9.5 millimeters according to this. And then take that back to this fractured edge here. And what we're looking for is the point at which that thickness meets the weld. And as you can see, although there is some burning of the edge there, the actual fracture surface, which is the one that we're interested in, and bearing in mind we cannot see the edge of the plate, that's a very important thing to note. If you can see the edge of the plate, the chances are it hasn't fused properly. And that dimension there, like so, is the thickness of the plate or less. And that's the important thing. So this one's actually a pass, and you can see that it's fused. It's fused right the way through the plate thickness, and what we're measuring there is the dimension from this edge to the actual fracture surface there, which is the point at which the sound weld metal starts. It's an approximate thing, so don't get too excited about it. If there's some grey areas, then assume they're white. The other thing to bear in mind is the stop-start position in the root, which is marked on the test piece, usually somewhere around the centre. Remember that the welder has to stop-start in the root and in the weld cap. The weld cap just gets a visual inspection, but the root stop-start is inspected here. And what we're looking for is no evidence of a defect in the area of the stop-start. Hopefully that helps. Any queries, give me a call.